My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is December 3rd, 2025. It is 2:57 a.m. So let's continue. I have a lot to share with you on this channel. My other one on PYTE wasn't too long. That was my last recording for PYTE. So let's continue. First tweet. Okay, so Prince William and Kate Middleton kick families out of their homes. Charles too. Look what they did to Harry and Meghan regarding Fragmore. Took over 150 acres of public park and spent millions on renovations and security for their new forever home, but only have a 20 years lease. Oh, Charlie, this is how long Willy thinks you've got to live. Okay, the National Audit Office is to update a 2005 report. Okay, reported did on royal leases to help the inquiry. The Crown Estate has defended the commercial terms of the leases. It had also revealed that the Prince and Princess of Wales have a 20-year lease on their new home, Forest Lodge. Maybe Billy thinks in 20 years he can give his kids their own home and then kick Kate out of their lodge. LOL, not Charlie. Kids will be out and Kate will be due to be downgraded property-wise. Oh my God. I doubted they will be there 20 months, let alone 20 years. Oh my Lord, the thing that's going on, it's crazy. Oh, this is why sometimes when I think about the way human think and process life, I say, thank God, God give us, all of us, an expiration date. Because every generation, there's some crazies that comes about and makes people's lives miserable during their time. If they were to live forever, can you imagine how chaotic this world would have been? Look what's going on in the US right now. All right, next week. Well, pretty much around the world, it's a lot of things going on. It's like crazies put their mind together to bring chaos, disrupt people's lives. All right, next week. Beyond the seeming fantasy of stripping Meghan and her kids of their title, while the Weasel King is trying to bulldoze Chuck out the way. I get the press acting like Meghan losing her name will be some grand punishment. It won't. But what's in it for Egbert? Egbert. Okay, I think William has a kink when it comes to Meghan. Like how Piers Morgan comes off incredibly sexually frustrated when talking about Meghan, William is too. And William proved time and again that he had a massive crush on Meghan and her rejection of him deserved punishment. Let's go into that. There's 6 responses to that. Yeah, I was thinking about this. And another picture where I think William and Kate were standing and as if it's a still image. I don't have a video of that. And then Harry and Meghan were coming and the way he looks at Meghan, that image, the moment I saw it, I was like, something must have happened. And Meghan probably put him in his place. All right. The way he fixated on his brother's wife while being a whole married father of 3 just scream that he knows the woman he crushes on thinks he's a scum. His behavior has always given pretty and pink vibe. If you know, you know. He wants a reaction out of her so bad and she doesn't give it to him. Yeah, they all do Sage. They are all work hard for her. Even the gay ones. Some squad is becoming with some crazy comment. She block everything. She doesn't want people who don't follow her to like, comment, or retweet. That comment I just read. I honestly think this really started to get ugly when she asked him to remove his finger from her face. Who had talked to Wills like that before? She had the audacity to stand up for herself, and he has tried to make her pay ever since. Maybe that was the thing that happened, because there was a time I felt like they probably sent Harry away to do some engagement far away, and then so that's when Harry and Meghan were living in the UK. And then while they sent Harry whatever to do whatever engagement, and Meghan probably was in the house by herself, and he tried to do something. That was my thinking at that time. Maybe it was the pointing finger that got him. I was like, something must have happened between Meghan and William. But my crazy thinking could be 1,000,000% wrong, but maybe it's the finger pointing that was the thing. She had the audacity to stand up for herself, and he has tried to make her pay ever since. And that's why mediocre Middleton hates Meghan. I would be enraged if I could see that my husband openly had the hearts for another woman. I mean, you can't force people to love you. And she allowed herself to be walked all over. From my understanding, her, Kate, and William were a fan of Meghan. They used to watch Suits. So what happened is that Kate can suppress her starstruck, but William, on the other hand, his position come into play the moment he probably saw Meghan, thinking like, oh, I'm the heir to the throne, big head, thinking he's better than anybody. He thought that will somehow have an effect on Meghan. And Meghan was like, no, okay, you're just like anybody. It's just a position. You're just waiting for the next to die to get to move up. Meghan doesn't care. So that's probably one of those things as well. He tried to use his position on Meghan. Meghan didn't give him that attention. A case of it, you can beat them, join them. All right, so let me go back. Let me read what's there, and then that's it. Bottom up. Egbert, yeah, that was kind of funny. He is being blackmailed, allegedly. What they have on William could topple the monarchy. I think Egbert's goal is to punish Harry. His reign will only be about the Sussexes. I bet he wishes he was born in the 1800s, probably. But he's trying to use his father's blueprint, and it doesn't work in this days and age. What he's doing right now had worked for his mother, the way Charles had worked, use it on Princess Diana.
Do you really believe that a campaign was being waged against him?
Yes, I did, absolutely. Yeah.
Why?
I was a separated wife to the Prince of Wales. I was a problem, full stop. Never happened before. What do we do with her?
Can't we back her off to somewhere quietly rather than campaign against her?
She won't go quietly. That's the problem. I'll fight till the end.
So he's trying to use it on Harry and Meghan, but the difference as well is that Harry grew up in the institution. He knows their tactic. All right? Nothing. He has actually never liked Chuck, and only his feud with Harry brought him somehow close to Chuck. He never even bows to Chuck. I think he thinks he will have absolute power. Right now, he has to report to Chuck. All right? So this is my last one. That's the thing. After that, then what? It will define his reign, just like the taking away the cottage has defined his father's. In the end, historians will write that Harry was the real king because the crown tried so hard to discredit him, but in turn ruined themselves. Yeah, there's something I posted on my community board, and I said, let gravity take its course. It's the same thing. Harry and Meghan just have to ignore them and then just let them self-sabotage the leftovers. All right, next tweet, this image. I can't wait to be king so I can punish Harry and Meghan, says the leech who lives off the taxpayers. The Sussexes at least own their mansion and makes their money. Can he say the same? All right, exactly. A monstrous nerve. There's the rolling eye. What does that Drake think he can do to the Sussexes? I can't believe that moment. The mediocrity will be someone's king, let alone an entire people. There's a slap in the face. All right, as long it is not ours, that suits me fine. But it makes me laugh to see his ego swelling bigger every day. What do you think will happen when he realizes that even as king, he still won't be able to do a thing to Harry? The meltdown, let the show begin. There's the popcorn. What staggers me the most is above all the lack of intelligence. That is true. You will think he will learn from other stupidity things that he has done, but he keeps on banging his head on the wall and expecting a different result. Yeah, this one is very good. I agree with that. What staggers me the most is above all the lack of intelligence. When his criminal father, his witch of a stepmother, as well as his insignificant uncle with his destitute wife, not the pedos, all go and die, who will he have left to take on the roles? An imbecile. Yeah, the way she worded her. I don't even think I read it correctly because I was laughing too much. Okay. What staggers me the most is above all the lack of intelligence. When his criminal father, his witch of a stepmother, as well as his insignificant uncle with his destitute wife, not the pedos, all go and die, who will he have left to take on the roles? An imbecile. Alright. I don't know if his kids will have somewhat of a different way of thinking. He does not think that far. It's the emoji she put at the end. That's true. He doesn't think that far. That is true. He does not think that far. This horrible man is briefing every week about what he will do as king. I wish Charles a very long reign. There's that. Alright, let's go to the next tweet. The way the squad respond to this is kind of funny. I'm sorry I was laughing in between. But you could pause or mute me. Just pause your screen and read the tweet. Alright, next tweet. The public never expected Charles to play doting granddaddy in LA. Doting granddad. The monarchy isn't about reunion or forgiveness or family love. It's about optics, schedules, and keeping the brand intact. Okay, so that's a article. I'm not gonna read that. Alright, let's see here. I'll read that last. Let me read this to bottom. I'm sure the side piece will have her side of the family and Toto just not seen by the paying public. And it's not working as the royal family popularity tanks. Alright, let's see what she wrote here. And this is my last one. Of course, any meeting with Harry will hijack the headlines and overshadow the state visit, and the firm can have that. Why do you think they were so furious with the Sussexes in the first place? Way back in 2018 and 2019, when it became clear that the only stars in the House of Windsor were Harry and Meghan. Meanwhile, back in Norfolk, the King's Christmas table is looking sparse. For the third year running, Bill and Kath reportedly won't be joining the Sandringham lunch. They'll turn up for the church walk photo op, with big smile plastered on, slap off everywhere. Apparently, non-stop disagreements and icy moments have made the festive season fussier than usual. Whoever is coming in the US, if it's Charles or William, they're coming for a specific reason, okay? I don't want to say what I'm thinking, but it's a specific reason. The way the US is going, because the thing with the, what do you call this? Let me pause this. Was it Grenier? My God. What's that guy from the Heritage Foundation? Did not work. It went to the court and they released some document which pretty much was redacted. So they're gonna go straight to that guy. Okay? You could put one and one together. Let me leave that topic alone. Next tweet. 4 million children are suffering economic abuse, their pocket money stolen, going without food, surviving economic abuse. Meanwhile, the unelected monarchy sits on billions, and the crown's grotesque wealth and prioritize UK kids. Abolish the monarchy. That same nonsense that's going on in the UK, right here in the US, they transfer it. The amount of money that just evaporated from the people's money due to their social security, all sort of them just evaporated. I don't know. This is their globe. They want to suppress the population. That's what they're going for. Suppress the population. What's happening with the UK, they're doing it so subtly as if they're not really doing anything, or they're not responsible for the suffering that's happening in the UK. Meanwhile, the money is going toward them. In the US, they're doing it in a different way. But we're not even finishing his first year, Trump's first year. He literally just came in and just grabbed everything and sent it to, not Venezuela, what's the other one? Argentina. It's just unbelievable. All right, so I read this. Let's listen to this. It's almost 2 minutes. Screenshot in between.
Children are suffering the impacts of economic abuse within families, including having their pocket or birthday money stolen or going without food, according to new research. The charity Surviving Economic Abuse, which commissioned the survey, said it's a form of coercive control that could impact around 3.9 million children in the UK. Hannah Kings has more.
Wow.
Ruth, while you're here, we had a Christmas...
For ITV presenter Ruth Dodsworth, these smiles were hiding a painful reality, because Ruth and her 2 children were living with domestic abuse. As part of his coercive control, Ruth's husband had been controlling her finances, something Ruth says was devastating.
It strips away your sense of self. If my children ask for money, if they ask for school trips, he would find that money, and more often than not, what he was doing was sort of selling their iPad. My son's bike disappeared. The mental impact of seeing one of your parents control the others is huge on children.
There are now almost 4 million children in the UK living in households where economic abuse is having an impact. In new research, 16% of economic abuse survivors said their partner or ex-partner had stolen money from their child, and 33% of women who suffered economic abuse from an ex-partner said they had refused to pay child support or paid unreliably.
We have to recognise children are victim survivors in their own right. We really want the government to include children in the Violence Against Women and Girls strategy that they're about to publish.
The government says tackling economic abuse will be integral to achieving its goal of halving violence against women and girls in a decade, adding that it will continue to ensure children and young people are at the heart of this ambition. But that work is ongoing, and for the children and adults living through economic abuse, the coming festive season can be the most difficult of all. Hannah Kings, Good Morning Britain.
Wow, I never heard this like that. But these men they just want money to just show off. They don't want to live their true life. They just want to show they have. Wow. Poor that, where's the lady where she dropped the clicker? Where is it? Oh my God, I feel so, right here. Meanwhile, it was happening to her. She probably felt it the moment. Oh my God. And that's the thing with the UK. The thing that they were trying to do to Meghan. Okay, to lower herself and for them to be in control of her autonomy, the finances and everything like that. You remember in Spare where Charles said he doesn't have money to take care of Meghan.
Driving us out into the fields, asked about Meg. Not with great interest, just casually. Still, he didn't always ask, so I was pleased. She's good, thanks. Does she want to carry on working? Say again. Does she want to keep on acting? Oh, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't think so. I expect she'll want to be with me, doing the job, which would rule out Suits, since they film in Toronto. I see. Well, darling boy, you know there's not enough money to go around. I stared. What was he banging on about? He explained, or tried to. I can't pay for anyone else. I'm already having to pay for your brother and Catherine. I flinched. Something about his use of the name Catherine. I remembered the time he and Camilla wanted Kate to change the spelling of her name because there were already 2 royal ciphers with a C and a crown above. Charles and Camilla. It would be too confusing to have another. Make it Catherine with a K, they suggested. I wondered now what came of that suggestion. I turned to Willy, gave him a look that said, "You listening to this?" His face was blank. Pa didn't financially support Willy and me and our families out of any largesse. That was his job. That was the whole deal. We agreed to serve the monarch, go wherever we were sent, do whatever we were told, surrender our autonomy, keep our hands and feet inside the gilded cage at all times, and in exchange the keepers of the cage agreed to feed and clothe us. Was Pa, with all his millions from the hugely lucrative Duchy of Cornwall, trying to say that our captivity was starting to cost him a bit too much? Besides which, how much could it possibly cost to house and feed Meg? I wanted to say, she doesn't eat much, you know, and I'll ask her to make her own clothes, if you like. It was suddenly clear to me that this wasn't about money. Pa might have dreaded the rising cost of maintaining us, but what he really couldn't stomach was someone new dominating the monarchy, grabbing the limelight. Someone shiny and new coming in and overshadowing him, and Camilla. He'd lived through that before and had no interest in living through it again.
But yet, they didn't want her, They made her stop. It was so ridiculous. Made her stop her TIG, all the things that she was doing, making money off of on social media, make her shut it off, and then don't want to give money, and then if she's gonna... it was just devastating. So that's what's eating them up right now, the institution, to see Meghan is thriving. So that trip Charles is making to the US is very specific. We need to pray. We need to pray. He's not just coming here to congratulate Trump or anything like that. It's a very specific thing that he's gonna do. All right, let me read what's there. Grow up. Kate is grotesque. Q jumping for healthcare. Self-PR the whole time and zero discernible skills. Rubbish. Complete propaganda rubbish. Sadly, this country is just finished. Which country? The US or the UK? Both of them are done because it's just a few. The 1%ers are grabbing all the wealth. See what the peasants see funding, including blonde hair dye on 10-year-old. Shame, peasant revolt. Unemployment youth, a budget that wants public services but doesn't know how to raise revenue. Maybe the royals are a distraction from the grim economic reality facing Britain. Yeah, like I said, the recycle system. The institution, the monarchy, is for distraction. And then you have the papers writing lies to blind the people. And then the government is just creating laws so the people don't pay attention. Okay? The royal family distract the people. The papers lied to them, the people. The government, which is what the people should be paying attention to, okay, just go under the radar and taking rights away from them. Yeah, that's what I call the recycle system. Charlotte's net worth is nowhere near that. The duchy will be George, and she will get inheritance from her parents and maybe grandparents, but it will be in the millions. Grandparents, please. Camilla's kids probably gonna get that. You think Charles care, but Charles is done with the monarchy. Next tweet. All right. Dimbleby. The image getting across is that Prince William is just an ordinary Joe. That image was coming out of the South America. Okay. And therefore, why should he be king then? Abolish the monarchy. I didn't know that ordinary citizen on 5 mansions, work 7 days a month, had 10 vacation a year, and live off other people's taxes. That's that. In December, they should conduct another poll to declare him the world's most handsome bald man in 2025, which will help boost his confidence again, as it has been a tough year for Willy. The year that they told her, I don't remember which magazine said it. I know I record that time about the sexiest bald man. Even Mike Tyson came out laughing about it. Substitute drunk for Joe, and you might be on the... Okay, substitute drunk for Joe, and you might be onto something. An ordinary Joe with 5 mentions. Okay, all right, next tweet. All right, let me pause for a second. I'm seeing politics is next, but further down, I have some stuff about the monarch, William and stuff. Let me see if I should switch some stuff over. Okay, so I was creating another list a couple of days ago, but I never finished it or recorded it. So I removed the things regarding the left behinders, put it over here. All right, so I have 3 more. The last 2 are pretty much US politics. So after the next one, if you don't want to watch the rest of the video, that's fine. But anyway, this is the next tweet. They're basically describing Willy as a wild, unsupervised kid. There's the sneaky smile here. Quote, the Prince of Wales looked to take to the royal establishment and to slash and burn like an unsupervised, overly enthusiastic work experience arborist when he accedes to the throne. Alright, so let's see here. This was December 2, yesterday, 2025. Prince William slash and burn royal plan reveal. The next king has a dramatic vision for the royal family that could affect hundreds of people, including Harry and Meghan. But wait a second. Then they said they don't have any kind of, what's the type of monarchy that they have? Constitutional monarchy? I mean, Harry and Meghan are not working royal. They don't even live in the UK. Okay, let's put a post-it on this. Okay, I say let him take it. Let him blow up what's left of the institution to be spiteful and pacify his media buddies. By the way, as much as the flexing Andrew still has his Duke title, it just isn't recognized in official capacity anymore. I look forward to Willy and his solo kingdom. Solo kingdom is what it will be. Yeah. Harry Harry better keep ignoring William, because William attempts to scare by threatening to strip him of things don't actually have any effect, as Harry is financially independent and stripping him of titles won't be exciting as William thinks. Yeah, the key thing here, Harry financial, okay? That's the thing here. Harry and Meghan are financially independent. They can't do anything to Harry. Harry doesn't even care about the title. But with God and our prayers, protection, that's all he needs. Alright, Willy can't stand that Harry is ignoring him, and this is all attention seeking. Yep, he is such a narcissist. Everything William does is for an audience of one, Harry. That is true. Solo kingdom. What is it? Audience of one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Audience of one and solo kingdom. Where was I? Okay. Yep, he is such a narcissist. Everything William does is for an audience of one, Harry. And there's nothing a narc hates more than their target completely ignoring their existence. It's also why William threw a week-long temper tantrum when Harry and Charles met. Not that father and son met, but because Harry has made no indication he wants to meet William. Exactly. Harry then met him or contacted him. There's the laugh here. He was so hurt. And the thing is that he wants to have interaction. Okay, this is coming back to me again. This is something that I thought that possibly, okay, allegedly happened. When he took settle out of court with the papers to not regarding the phone hacking, I always felt like they give him extra, even though he had upper hand. Like some of the tweet that I just read, like he's not that bright. The tweet didn't make it like that, but William is not that bright. He had the upper hand against the papers regarding the phone hacking. What I felt like they persuade him to believe, okay, and made him settle out of court, and they probably give him a few millions. You know, these people have a lot of money, the papers, to not only to not, for him to not call them to court, but also to not let Harry call them to court. So he probably took that extra pound on top of his settlement, and that extra million they probably give him, he cannot hold his part of the bargain because Harry have sued them, and William couldn't control Harry. So he need information, okay, about Harry to tell the paper. And I think that was the exchange kind of thing. So since he cannot do all of them, that's probably driving him crazy. And the papers, they're like, you better keep up with the part of the bargain, especially if there was signed documents for that. If he can hold it and say, I have to give you your money back because I can't control Harry. But if there's signed document and the papers are pretty slick, they're probably going to say, no, there's no take back. Do what I said or else. So that's probably eating him up. This is my crazy thinking, okay? It wasn't written anywhere, nothing. With the exception when Harry went to court and one of his lawsuits with the papers, it came out that he settled. Okay, nobody knew. he took money and he just settled. Nobody knew William did that. It was until Harry went to court and that was said in court. Okay? And then I add to it my conclusion of it. As if they give him extra money, William that is, so to prevent Harry from suing. But William can't do that because he can't control Harry. He thought he had control of Harry. When Harry when Harry was working royal, he was just playing nice. All right? Because of the hierarchy system that he was living in. But once they double cross him, backstab him, try to mess up his little family, everything go out the window. You see, he even wanted to give his title. They just refused to take it. All right, let's read this and that's it. This little thread and then move up. All right, with a clickbait, probably. Yeah. I'm thinking Willy idiot jerk want revenge for various reasons against establishment and his father Charles, grandmother Queen Elizabeth control ways. Beside his own brother Harry and Meghan, okay, he going to be one crazy lonely king making bad moves. Amen. The derangers are at it again. They can't expect facts. Okay. He should. The same thing is keep on being repeating. Solo king. All right. Okay, he should do it at the end. He will be left all alone in his greedy empty space, and pretty much he will be, MOS 5, what is that? MOS 5-headed warrior ever. Okay, the most, that's probably what she wrote here. Okay, and pretty much he will be the most hated warrior ever. Come on, think good thoughts, say nice things, do good for others, everything comes back. All right. So this is the last thread that I'm reading under the tweet. Harry better keep ignoring William because William attempt to scare by threatening to strip him of things don't actually have any effect as Harry is financially independent and stripping him of titles won't exciting as William thinks. Willy can't stand that Harry is ignoring him and this is all attention seeking. Yep, okay, I think I read this already. Yep, he is such a narcissist. Everything William does is for audience of one, Harry. Okay, I read this already. So let's go to the next tweet. If I didn't read the rest, you could pause and read. I was talking too much before inserting my opinion. Alright, so this is the last one that I have in terms of title. And then the next two tweets is US politics. You could just stop after this one. Alright. I wish they would take their titles under one condition, only apply to UK media. Do not talk about them, discuss them on your shady talk shows, including them in your fake emotional support polls, or follow and report on anything that they do. It will be interesting to see how long the media survives when Harry and Meghan are completely off limits. I mean, even though if they agree to that, it would be hard for that to be applied. All right, the media, I think, is independent from the institution. So, I don't know. And then they're gonna start implementing that. It's a democracy. You can tell. I don't know. It won't work. Even if this was mentioned, that one condition, in the UK, they will work around it to still talk about him. And then the thing will be coming over here. Next tweet. And then when it comes over here, the US doesn't follow the UK rules at all. It's completely different. That won't work. It sounds good, but to implement it, it won't work. They will work around it to still talk about them. All right, let's read some of the comment here. The New York Times admitting that Meghan was the biggest and most media-covered celebrity attending Paris Fashion Week. There's that. She came, gagged everyone, and left. That's how you do it. Okay, there's all those hashtags here. Those conditions means they will never take away the titles because not only do the UK media depend on them for circulation, but even the leftovers depend on their coverage for relevance. I think the caption was talking for the UK media to not talk about Harry and Meghan only. The Sussexes in particular. Alright, they will still discuss them at our museum because a balding jealousy heart and its mannequin will not rest until they destroy Harry's life. With God willing, that won't happen. That is the aim. Those media outlets know that it won't happen, but they continue to say it's a threat because it riles up the gullible people they depend on for revenue. Okay, the Fairly Mirror will have to shut up shop after 30 minutes. Yeah, it won't happen. even if they say okay, but the media will find a way to work around it. All right, it will have to be very specific. Go over each and every media, make them sign. Okay, it will have to be very specific. Then again, even if one let's say the current media outlet that there are in the UK, even if they make each one of them sign it, a new one will pop up. Unless if they also go to whoever give licensing for this, for the media, a new media to pop up, to go to the licensing, and whenever a new pop-up comes and said you cannot talk about Harry and Meghan. I don't know. It will be very hard. Okay, so now we are into US politics. 2 tweets about that, and I think both of them are videos. I'm just gonna focus on the videos, okay? Tonight in Tennessee, a warning was delivered to the pedophile president and the corrupt GOP. The GOP, if you are outside of the UK, it's the GOP, the political party that Trump is in, all right? Harris and Biden were the Democrats, okay? The political party, the 2 political party system in the US, okay? That's what it means. President and the corrupt GOP, no way Atherton Ben should have been this close in a ridiculous gerrymandered district that Trump won by 22 points. The South is waking up, y'all, and that's the death knell for Republicans. Okay, it's a minute and 1. I don't really follow. What state did she say? South. What? Trump near Republican. Where did it say? What? Oh, Tennessee. Okay, Tennessee is the state where I might have mentioned it, where these Democrats, many of them were young. 2 black young Democrats from Tennessee and 1 white woman were thrown out because the Republican and the House, I forgot what it was. They were upset about certain things. Where the guy was talking, one of the elected officials, they took him out, and I think he had lost his seat, and in order for him to get back again, he ran again, and he won. Let me see if I could find that story. I'm not explaining it very well. Okay, so this is the story that I was trying to explain. I may not read everything, okay? I'm not gonna read everything, but at least the first paragraph. This is the question that I asked Google. What is the story of the 3 Democrats in Tennessee that were thrown out? Okay, so that's what I remember. So that's the keyword question that I asked. Okay, in April 2023, the Tennessee House Representative expelled Democratic Representative Justin Pearson and Justin Jones for participating in a gun control protest with Gloria Johnson, narrowly avoided expulsion. The 3 lawmakers joined protesters on the House floor using a megaphone and leading chant after a mass shooting at the Covenant School in Nashville. The Republican-controlled House accused, okay, Republican is also the GOP, the same political party as Trump, okay? The Republican-controlled House accused the trio of disorderly behavior, but the expulsion drew national backlash and accusation of racial bias, as Johnson is white, okay, and the 2 men are black. All 3 were eligible to run in a special election for their seats, and both Pearson and John won their election in August 23. Okay, so that was the story. Let me show you the image. I know I spoke about it in one of my videos. Okay, so there they are here. These 3. There's the lady, and there's the 2 gentlemen. Okay, so they were being really playing them left and right. See, this is the thing. People have to stand up and push back, and they won their position again, and that pisses off the Republicans, because these 3 did not let the Republicans just do whatever it is that they want. There's one video. Actually, let me go play it for you. Crockett was talking about the pushback against Trump. All right, so we cannot just sit back and let them do whatever they want. There has to be a pushback. All right, so that annoys them. Okay, let me go look for the Crockett's video, and then I'll go over that. Okay, I started reading it. You know what? Let me finish this, and then I'll look for the Crockett video. All right. Tonight in Tennessee, a warning was delivered to the pedophile president and the corrupt GOP. Nowhere after ban should have been this close in a ridiculously gerrymandered district that Trump won by 22 points. The South is waking up, y'all, and that's a death knell for Republicans. And this is what I've said also. When they're doing the gerrymandering, okay, yes, I understand the racist type of mentality is really rooted down deep in their DNA. But reality, when you see the people you're voting for are not doing the things to help your everyday life, even with gerrymandering, those people should see, I'm not voting for this guy. Look at my life. My bills is skyrocketing. My way of living is not up to standard. This guy is not representing me well. So forget the races. But, hey, let's listen to him. It's exactly a minute. Meanwhile, let me go look for Crockett's video.
We have some major news tonight. Republicans, well, they're nervous. Yes, they won the Tennessee 7th congressional special election tonight, but it's going to be likely a single-digit win. This is a race won by Donald Trump by 22 points. A race won by Republicans last year by over 20 points. This was not supposed to be as close as it was, and well, it is now going to be a massive shift leftwards by over 10 points, possibly more. And that spells trouble for Republicans nationwide. Democrats have been saying, leading up to tonight's race, that they never really expected a win, but what they did expect is a substantial overperformance, and that's what they got. Now, how this translates to 2026, that only time will tell. But what is clear tonight is that Democrats surged in a race that should never have been as competitive as it was.
Oops.
Spread the word, follow along, stay up to date on all the news that you need to know about. More to come soon.
Okay, I find the video. I was looking for it at there. Okay, so this is the video that I was looking at. All right, let's listen to it.
I have to explain why it is and why it matters that we stand up to Trump. Because if we continue to bend the knee to him, even as Democrats, that our democracy that is hanging literally by a thread, it potentially will fall. And so we can't put him in this situation where he just does whatever he wants to. He already knows that the Supreme Court will have his back. He already knows that House Republicans will have his back. He already knows that Senate Republicans will have his back. The only defenders that we have are Democrats. That is why we saw the results that we saw on November 4th in this entire country. Overwhelmingly, people want to check on his power. And the way that we check him is we put him into a corner. He knew that November 4th was a bad day for him and his policies. And we've got to stand up and recognize our power right now. And our power lies in the people. I have to...
Okay, and the thing is that I know it's very frustrating, especially because the thing that Trump is doing affect people worldwide, not just the US. Look what's happening in the South America. But I think this is showing people that despite how the Republican tactically corner democracy, where they made sure, not only with misinformation, but position themselves within our democratic setup. You know, you have the House, the representative, all of this, the people, representatives, senators represent the people, the states, and things like that. They study, they maneuver themselves to power grab our democracy. And now it lies on the people. And while these things are happening, Trump is doing it as if it is something legal. The Democrats have to refrain themselves to not stoop to their level to break the law. Because the Republicans are good at pointing fingers, and then they have a loud mouth because they capture all form of communication, the medias, social medias, and whatnot. So when it's time for them, let's say the Democrat break the law to get to him, okay, this is when the Republican will start using the megaphone to say, oh, you broke the law, you're not supposed to do this. And then everything will, this is what they want, actually, for the Democrats to break the law so they could point finger and say, look, you're giving me a reason to punish you even more. So I hope I'm explaining it correctly, but we have to give prop to some of the people we elected who's fighting back, like Jasmine Crockett and many others, like those two young men and that other lady in Tennessee who stood up to those people who's trying to hijack democracy. And I don't think people outside of the US will see what is happening because the media is not showing those things. Because the media is under control of majority of the MAGAs. Okay? So they're not gonna report exactly what's going on and politics. And when people outside of the US is thinking that nothing is being done, why Trump is doing this, there's no stuff, it's because all three branches of government is in control of the party of Trump. All right? The Supreme Court, the executive, which is Trump, and the Congress, all right, all in control, majority by MAGAs. All right, so people have to go vote, and to vote against Trumpism, so the balance of power could be switched. All right, so it lies to the people. If you follow certain, not me, because I don't talk too much about this type of things. Occasionally, like I'm doing right now, I'll talk about it. But if you follow, what's that lady? Some social media. Okay, perfect example. Midas Touch. They will talk about the things that's happening. The Trump administration is somewhat with Midas Touch. Okay, I consider Midas Touch channel is similar to what's the in the UK, Byline. Okay, so far, okay, let me put an asterisk because I don't want to pop it too much before they turn. Usually when I say positive things about certain things, next thing I know, they turn to a derenger. Okay, the Royal Rats type of kind of thing. But as of now, Byline is one of those you could trust for now. Okay, for now, you could trust their reporting. And Midas Touch is one of those. I will consider Midas Touch and Byline almost the same because they rise up, they raise above the media that Trump have tried to suppress. Where, the Murdoch have positioned themselves. This I have talked about a lot on my channel. Will Lewis, they position themselves, capture all form of medias that been in existence in the US with high recommendation, very respected. They capture it and then they turn into garbage. Okay, reporting nonsense. All right, so Midas Touch and Byline in the UK, Midas Touch in the US, Byline in the UK are the two ones that rise up while, how will I say that? The people in position of power trying to suppress information. All right. But anyway, you may not hear what's going on politically in the US. The people are fighting. Okay. You don't see black people out there protesting. We've done our protest in the voting booth. Yesterday, I went to vote. You didn't hear me talk too much about it, but I went to vote. This is where I do my protest. So that's that. This video came to mind since we were talking about that. People are doing their fight in their own way. All right. It's a very small portion of American that's making the entire US look bad. The same thing that happened in the UK. All right. But anyway, I hope I make sense with my perspective of this. That doesn't mean you have to agree with me. And if you are in the US, add to it in the comment section so people outside of the US who watch that video could get other perspective. Okay. All right, next tweet. This is my last one. Breaking. The Pentagon just blew up the White House entire cover story. Press Secretary Kensley Wilson openly confirmed that the Caribbean strikes, including the follow-on strike that hit survivors, were presidential directed and fully backed by Pete Hegseth. The other thing as well, when the Supreme Court gave Trump that board immunity, that was a huge mistake. A huge mistake. This is why he's doing all of this. So when he's done, when he's out of the office, so he could say he had power to do that because he was protecting the US. when in fact they freaking manufactured every freaking thing that's going on. What I see is going on in Venezuela, I can't believe it. The current, okay, I'm pausing here, okay, I'm up to here. The current president that's in Venezuela, he won his presidency similar to Trump by cheating. The people were against it. But now with the nonsense that Trump is doing down there, and I saw videos where the people are chanting for him. So they completely switch the narrative of him. What's his name? Moderno or something like that? Okay, because of what Trump is doing. And now he's being portrayed as the savior for the country. Meanwhile, it's just a pretense. It's just a pretense. This is what I say. South America has a lot of reflection to do. A lot of reflection. I understand they want to protect their land. But if they saw the origin of the nonsense that's going on, the UK is part of it as well, which I have spoken about. And it was recently they exiting out of the mess that's going on in the UK. In South America. By saying that they're not providing the US with intelligence. That's their way of telling the world, I'm out of here. They already created the nonsense, whatever it is that they were doing in South America, because their pretense was they were going to protect their Commonwealth or whatever. But I saw the nonsense that was brewing. Okay, so they exit themselves out by saying they're not going to provide intelligence to the United States. But meanwhile, they all connected with the Trump admin. Okay, they're going to get a piece of the pie if they are able to, tap in the oil that's going on in Venezuela. But anyway, let's finish this. There's a lot that's going on. You have to understand all the branches that's going on, because it's a group of people who teams up and trying to control everything around the world. They want to control it. Okay, if you look in the US, if you go certain states, okay, there's a company that can provide you with certain utilities, either the internet, or you go to another section, there's a certain company that could provide you with Wi-Fi. You go to another section, this company can provide with what do you call this, cable and things like that. So this is what they want to do. They want to control everything. Certain group of people are entitled to control this certain thing. And one thing we need to pay attention to, especially people in the US, the lawsuit that Casco brought up against the Trump administration. I mentioned it in one of my videos. It should be on APTS Sussex. So pay attention to that. That should will be the precedent. If Casco were to win, other companies, small, you name it, might be benefited from that. Okay, pay attention to the Casco lawsuit. Okay, let's finish this. I didn't even play that. No more blaming the Navy. No more pretending he says, then no. The Secretary and the President are the ones directing these strikes. The Secretary 100% agree with. This puts Trump and his staff directly on the hook for the operation the Senate and House are now investigating as a potential war crime. Okay, so let's listen to that. I didn't really talk too much about what's going on and what Trump is doing in the international waters. I may have mentioned it vaguely, but if you know what's going on in the US, this is it, okay? This is almost a minute. Screenshot in between, and this is my last video for this video.
Can you talk about the autonomy that's given to the commanders who are carrying out these operations, like Admiral Bradley, to make decisions? Like in this case, I'm assuming the first strike took out the boat and any actions that followed. Can you talk about the autonomy they're given?
Absolutely. So the Secretary has been very clear in every statement that we've released about these strikes that they are presidentially directed. And the chain of command functions as it should. And we make sure that commanders on the ground their positions are taken into account, and they are able to tell us and make decisions if they see things that need to be flagged. But at the end of the day, the Secretary and the President are the ones directing these strikes. And any follow-on strikes like those which were directed by Admiral Bradley, the Secretary 100% agrees with.
Okay, that just tell you his six is in big trouble. Trump is, how do you call it, immune. Trump is immune. I don't understand these people. He said he's the one who's going to jail. The Supreme Court already is almost like a pardon to Trump. Trump is free. He's not gonna do anything, but he says will be the one be blamed for that. He should have known better. This is why, and his last administration, there were people around him who were preventing him from doing that.
I'm Miles Taylor. I served as the Chief of Staff of the Department of Homeland Security under the Donald Trump administration. I would go into the office, I would read my intelligence brief, and then it was my job to help the Department of Homeland Security to keep our country safe. What we saw week in and week out, and for me after 2.5 years in that administration, was terrifying. We would go in to try to talk to him about a pressing national security issue, cyber attack, terrorism threat. He wasn't interested in those things. To him, they weren't priorities. The president wanted to exploit the Department of Homeland Security for his own political purposes and to fuel his own agenda. The California wildfires. On a phone call with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, he told FEMA to cut off the money and to no longer give individual assistance to California. He told us to stop giving money to people whose houses had burned down from a wildfire because he was so rageful that people in the state of California didn't support him and that politically it wasn't a base for him. The policies at the border, he wanted to restart zero tolerance and separate families. He said he wanted to go further and have a deliberate policy of ripping children away from their parents to show those parents that they shouldn't come to the border in the first place. A lot of the time, the things he wanted to do not only were impossible, but in many cases illegal. He didn't want us to tell him it was illegal anymore because he knew that there were, and these were his words, he knew that he had magical authorities. He was one of the most unfocused and undisciplined senior executives I've ever encountered. I came away completely convinced based on firsthand experience that the president was ill-equipped and wouldn't become equipped to do his job effectively. And what's worse, was actively doing damage to our security. People who are still serving in this administration have said to me, just wait until the second term. It'll be no holds barred. It'll be shock and awe. We'll do what we want. Given what I've experienced in the administration, I have to support Joe Biden for president. And even though I'm not a Democrat, even though I disagree on key issues, I'm confident that Joe Biden will protect the country. And I'm confident he won't make the same mistakes as this president.
Okay, all of the things that you see is happening now were supposed to happen since, I guess, during the Biden administration, if Trump had won. Okay, but he had people there were people around Trump that were preventing him from doing some of the things that he's doing now. But now he has yesser type of people who's agreeing with him. It's a mess. It's a mess. Okay, so that's that. Okay, we're gonna keep that prayer for humanity. Let's pick one under that. I want a short one, not too long, maybe that one. Okay, Father, be with my family and friends today. Cover them with your supernatural protection and peace. Let them feel in their soul that everything will be okay. May we all be together soon. Okay, in Jesus' name, amen. All right, so that is it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. All right, so that is it. Thank you for watching.
Vanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better